And now I'm going to hand it back to Carrie.
Great. And just to reiterate that this information is on our resources page. So we're not expecting you to take notes or remember this verbatim. But we really get started with this process with this thing called an FSA ID. It's also called creating a FAFSA account. So you may hear those things interchangeably, but it's used for completing the FAFSA on the web. It's used for federal student loan entrance counseling and a student's master promissory note. It's used for Teach Grant agreement to serve documents. There's actually this thing called a Teach Grant where students may be eligible to get some financial aid. And if they teach after, if they teach in their area after they graduate, they have that loan forgiven. It's a grant, but if they do not teach, they will have it become a loan. And also there's an annual student loan acknowledgement. Students do not have to fill that out, but they can access it and they can see how much borrowing they've done for the federal loan program. So students, parents, spouses, borrowers create a unique username and password. They also must link that unique username to an email address. So we recommend that students not use their school email address because a lot of high schools will close those accounts when students graduate. So we recommend that students, if they don't already have a free email account, they create one that they will use after high school graduation. They need the answers to 4 challenge questions, and they then have to set up this 2-step verification, and they can use email, a cell phone, or authentication app in order to do that. But they'll set that up while they're doing their FSA ID. So each FSA ID is unique to one person, and that's really important because for parents and students, they sometimes think they can share an FSA ID. They cannot. Spouses also cannot share an FSA ID. Your FSA ID or FAFSA account is unique to you. If a parent has an FSA ID from a previous child attending college or from their own higher education, that parent can use the same ID. And if they forgot it, use forgot username prompt, they cannot create a new one. Students, parents, and spouses can create an FSA ID now without a social security number. So students who are of mixed status, who may be married to or the child of someone without a social security number, can still apply for federal aid. The student and parent and spouse possibly must create an FSA ID and have the account confirmed before they begin the FAFSA. In the past, we could do a FAFSA and create an FSA ID as part of that process. They cannot do that anymore. We want people to give 3 to 5 days for that FSA ID or FAFSA account to process. It has to go through the Social Security Administration and through Homeland Security to make sure that the student's a citizen or eligible non-citizen. It needs some time. You might want to have some suggestions to additions for usernames, like they can add a middle name or initial, they can add a year, but they can't use their date of birth. They can use a house number. They can use the last digits of their phone number, not the last digits of their Social Security, though. And there's even a YouTube video available that you can find about creating an FSA ID.
And Carrie, we had a request that you repeat who does not need to provide a Social Security number.
So the people who don't need to provide a Social Security number are U.S. citizens who belong to one of the U.S. territories, like Federation of Micronesia, the Republic of Palau. I'm missing one. So it will be on the slide that you can go back to. And it's also on the federal student aid website. So they're very clear about who's an eligible citizen as well as, or who's a citizen as well as an eligible non-citizen who might not have a Social Security number.
And to clarify, if a parent does not have a Social Security number, they can create an FSA ID. That a person who is not an eligible non-citizen and does not have a Social Security number cannot obtain federal financial aid, but it's okay if their parent or spouse does not have a Social Security number.
So Stacey, would you like to talk about better FAFSA changes or?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I'll jump in here.